Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy Nate Weitzer, holding it down on the East Coast. And we are looking at Warriors and Thunder tonight on this Tuesday night NBA slate. Feeling pretty good about some bets inside of this one, Nate, which we'll jump into in just one sec. But as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or a DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for you right now. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, the Thunder are plus 9.5. I believe they opened at just plus 9, but that line's probably going to continue to climb because it just seems very simple to bet against this Thunder team right now since they're not even trying to win. The total is 223.5. And just running you through the other 4 games on the slate tonight, the Sixers are plus 1.5 at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. We have a separate episode up about that one if you want to get our take. The Lakers are now minus 3.5 at the Spurs. Struggling early in the season are the veteran-laden Lakers. Rockets now plus 10.5 at Mavericks, and the Nuggets are plus 7 at Jazz after their stunning loss at home to the Cavs. But sticking with this game, as I mentioned, the Thunder have been hosting a 24/7 tankathon since about the All-Star break last year, making no bones about their plan to just get as many draft picks as possible within the next 5 years and really to bench or make up an injury for anybody who starts playing well. It's like a reverse sabermetric strategy from Sam Presti to throw in anybody who shoots below 40%. And Darius Baisley does that very well, to his credit. But the Warriors have not cared, right? They faced the Thunder 3 times since they started this strategy and just absolutely crushed them by 38, 21, 39 points. And this year they're looking fantastic, as you can attest, Josh. I'm sure you watched pretty much every minute of your hometown Dubs there. They're top 6 in points per game, assists per game, rebounds per game, and leading the league in free throws. Steph is just as good as he's always been, and in his last 6 versus OKC, averaging a clean 35.5 points per game at 50% from deep. Not much to dislike about the Warriors' chances to put up a ton of points. So I would look at their team total for starters, since the Thunder are not really interested in stopping anyone, nor will they put out the personnel necessary to contain the greatest shooter of all time.
I think that's fair. There's not much to like for OKC. They're fine losing by double digits, and there's not much reason to be scared of that large spread when the Warriors are putting the ball in the bucket the way that they are. Interestingly, they used defense against the Lake Show at one point. The Lakers still got a good amount of points in that one. Still scoring above 110. But really, it was the defense at the middle of the third quarter to the beginning of the fourth quarter that really saw them take a nice lead. And it really comes down to how demoralizing it is when Steph is just hitting shot after shot. Now you've got Jordan Poole and other guys getting involved in the offense. And as you mentioned, it's not just how well the Warriors are playing this year, 3-0 obviously. And honestly, if we look ahead at the Warriors' schedule, this team has a chance to be about like 11-2 realistically when you look at their opening slate, especially since they have so many games at home. And with the Thunder, it's also about how bad they are. They're the bottom or the worst. They're the second worst or worst team in most offensive and defensive categories. To be honest with you, they're giving up the second most points per game. They're scoring 93 a game, right? They're basically getting blown out by about 22 every single night. It's pretty wild, and it's something that might even be unprecedented for them in what they've been showing as of late. And they haven't even been playing any good teams either, which is really scary. So the only thing that obviously keeps me from betting on things such as the Warriors team total, although I do like that one, especially in this type of game, because I do think even if the Thunder are tanking and the Warriors have their backups in by, pretty early on, I still think you can expect a bunch of points from the Warriors. They've got a bunch of professional basketball players on the team. The Thunder really don't. And so, at some point the rubber is going to have to meet the road for the Thunder, because having draft picks and players under 22 only helps you until you lose 4 to 8 seasons in a row or whatever they're on pace for. So, I think at some point it's going to have to stop, but it's not this one. And I think it's going to continue to be that for the rest of the season. Some of the teams that, we've seen in the past, such as like the Cavs and others who have tanked in the past 2 or 3, 4 seasons. You see a lot of these double-digit wins during a regular season when, a lot more players who need to prove themselves are getting time during the regular season as teams are going with larger and larger rotations, which will be the case for the Warriors. So that's why you actually see Steph's total points at 33 and a half as a prop where you get more money for taking his under than his over, his over than his under. So his over is minus 105, basically even money. His under is minus 115, which I think is the expectation here. Is there's just not going to be enough time for him to score that many points unless he puts up another 20-point quarter. So.
Yeah, with the Warriors, this year, I think it's kind of an addition in terms of identity. Obviously got Iguodala back. Got those two guys also, Bjelica and Otto Porter, to just kind of add a different dynamic. So I'm really looking for their second unit to take over this game. I think there's an intriguing bet. The race to 15 points in the second quarter, the Warriors, you can get about minus 140 there, because who even knows the Thunder's second unit at this point? It is definitely G League caliber guys. When Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's not out there, I don't know where they're getting buckets from. And Draymond Green just mentioned it. Like, there's just a different feel about the team this year, right? With Iggy back, with that new blood, a nice mix with the excitement that Klay Thompson will be back soon. See him on the bench watching all these games and raring to go. And I just think that they take care of business and easily blow out a Thunder team that's given up 17 triples per game at this point, which is why we like Jordan Poole leading that second unit. A couple of his props tonight. You can get some tasty odds there. We'll go into that more in the player props episode.
Yeah, and one thing to point out as well for the Thunder, SGA, they're only, let's call him a veteran player, but really their only guy worth talking about. I mean, Darius Bazley has some trade value, I suppose. But yeah, SGA's numbers versus the Warriors in his career are also not very good. He averages about 14, 3, and 3. Against them in about 17 career games at this point, 16 career games. It's enough of a sample size where we're going, okay, he doesn't play as well against the Dubs. They've got something for him each time. And obviously, to a degree, it's probably some effect of, a combo of, at the time when Klay was on him, he probably shut him down. And then you've got Draymond and Iggy as well, able to take him on the wings or at the point of attack. So not really too worried about him tonight. In fact, would consider his unders, if anything, but that's not quite as fun. So I'm definitely going to stick with the line there. No need to tease anything down or to buy any points. I feel very good as this stays under 10 that I would definitely grab it at 9.5 and even consider 10.5 or so. So that is all the time we have on this Warriors episode. As you mentioned, Nate, I will definitely be watching this one until it becomes too much of a stinker, and then I'll move on. But we will be back with that props video Nate mentioned, so make sure you like and subscribe to the page. Check out who we are picking tonight in terms of those player props as well. And until we see you next, happy betting.